Hello and welcome back to another week on the Create Your Own Nancy Drew Game podcast. The day that we're recording this, which is Saturday, March 27th, is World Theater Day. Just in case you didn't know that, it's World Theater Day, which is really exciting for me as a theater kid. And so I've been kind of celebrating today. I'm currently wearing a West Side Story show shirt from a show that I wasn't even in. I just got this. I got this shirt as a hand-me-down. So,
that's how I get most of my shirts. It's okay.
Yeah. So it's World Theater Day. So this is really exciting. It's a really exciting day for all of us thespians out there. And the person that I am joined with today is also pretty much a theater geek like me. And that would be
S. That's usually the name that I go by online. And my Tumblr blog is Curiously Creative. There's no numbers or ats in that. It sounds the way it's spelled. And I actually did not know that it was National Theater Day today, but
yes,
hopefully that was a very fun thing to know today. Hopefully theaters will open this year, but
I really hope so. There's so much I want to see, so much that has been shelved. Like a bunch of projects have been shelved because they just don't have the space to rehearse right now, and it's just sad.
I know someone who is working in theater. I don't want to say where they are or anything, but I know that they're doing some type of production, and I know that there's been digital productions in the UK, but I'm very out of the loop. Huh?
Are they professional, like Equity?
They were. Oh, what was it? I'll look up what their name is, but they did this. They did a live performance about, of course I don't remember his name, but it was Mark Segal.
Oh, gotcha.
And I'm blanking. It's like the old Vitrol. I'll look it up, but yeah, they did a production recently, but it was very under quarantine. It only had 2 people who acted and musicians, so it was a very minimal cast. But I'm very out of the loop of how New York theater is going right now.
Yeah, it's not. That's the basic. That's the basics. 4 shows have closed. It's just true. So S, I've always been curious. What is your avatar of right now?
Oh my god!
Did you draw
my avatar? For people who are wondering, my avatar is from Murder by Death, and it's a design that Charles Addams had done. And actually, that character you kind of see in one of his earlier cartoons when there's this werewolf that it's this man who goes to see a planetarium and they show the moon cycle and then he turns into a werewolf or some type of goblin creature during the cycle and then returns back to normal at the end. So I was like, oh, I love that little character. So in Murder by Death, that's not a character in the movie, but he added that design into the opening, which is a great opening. I do recommend people check it out. Besides the Peter Sellers and Yellowface, but that's a different can of worms, unrelated. But no, it's a great little opening because I was like, oh my god, I think Charles Addams did that design, and it turned out he did. For people wondering, he did the Addams Family as well.
That's what I was thinking. Great. So I guess we'll start with our icebreaker questions for the podcast. How long have you been playing the games?
A long time, since 2000. No, it's since I would say 2000 or 2001. I think I was 5 or 6.
Have you played them all?
I have not played them all because I'm lazy. I'm forgetful. I have so many of them saved legally, which is surprising for me because I used to play them consistently, I think until about number close to 20 or so, and then I kind of dropped off, and then I got interested again, and then I bought a ton off of Steam, and then I kept forgetting to play them. So that was a good cycle.
Do you know which ones you haven't played?
Yes, it's pretty much you go... It's too many, but it's pretty much if you go 25 to 34, it's most of those. But one, because I did actually play, I did own the original Stay Tuned for Danger, not Stay Tuned for Danger, the original Secrets Can Kill.
Yeah,
I think I might still have those CDs somewhere, but I did own Secrets Can Kill because they used to sell the games at Staples.
Oh yeah. Fun fact.
Fun fact. People wondering, where did people used to get Nancy Drew games? It's at Staples.
Yeah. So you can get Staples and the Nancy Drew games. That's all Staples sales. It's just Staples and the Nancy Drew games.
Yeah, Staples doesn't even sell office furniture anymore. They just sell Nancy Drew games.
Right. What is your favorite game?
I really like Finn, and I did actually play that recently. And Dog and Alibi is another recent one, but Finn and Dog, definitely.
And we've also talked about that we both really enjoy Secret of the Old Clock, because of the nostalgia and just the general 1930 theme, and I just think it's a good game. It's nice and easy, and it's just one of my faves. But we've talked about that before. But that's a really, really good game. And
it's got Joan Cusack face.
Even though the time travel is really good. Right.
Got uncanny Joan Cusack. So.
Joan Cusack just showing out of nowhere.
I wish they made it look like Debbie from the Addams Family Vault. That would have been.
I have always thought that. Oh my gosh.
That's so pure blonde.
But I never wanted to say it because people would be like, well, who the hell's that? And I'm like, oh, you don't know that girl from the Addams Family? Like, the Joan Cusack villain from the second one that got electrocuted at the end?
I'll give all the hot takes.
Right.
She'll even have her own so you can get her own, she'll have her own, oh my god, I'm blanking on the word, monologue. Nancy Drew at the end. When she's driving, right before she drives away. Spoiler alert for Clock. She just goes and gives a monologue.
Yeah. Have you read a lot of the books?
So, my grandma did own, not the originals, probably like a second or third reprint of the Yellowback. And I read one. It was Secret of the Old Clock. I know a lot of other people have been saying that, but that is kind of like the staple Nancy Drew book that everyone seems to have.
Staple.
And then I think I read one of the more modern ones, libraries that I used to when I was younger. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to read garbage. And that's how I devolved to like The Click and whatever else teen girl drama stories I wanted to read during that time.
Have you seen the movie or the TV show or anything like that?
I have seen in theaters the Emma Roberts movie because Nickelodeon loved to advertise that in their magazines, so that was probably a big one. That was a big advertisement when that movie was coming out. And let's see, I watched a little bit on TCM. TCM one time showed in one of the Nancy Drew movies. Of course, I managed to get to one of the worst parts of the movie, which is one of the racist scenes. So I was like, I won't watch the rest of this. But I mean, not all of them, but Nancy Drew has historically had that in the earlier era stuff, but people know that.
Everything has. I mean, everything was like that back then, so.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not saying, Carolyn Keene, you racist woman, like, that's not what it is. It's like.
Or racist person, because it was the group of people who wrote the book.
Oh, right. It was
racist man.
Racist man, yeah. And then, like, what do you enjoy outside of Nancy Drew and, like we've discussed, theater? Unless you want to talk about theater, but what do you enjoy outside of the games?
I enjoy old films, music. I used to have a radio show when I was at university, but I graduated, so I don't have that access anymore. But let's see what else. There's a lot of us in this, so sorry about that.
Oh, I say like all the time.
That for anyone who is of age and who is safely drinking game, for every time I say that's going to be the
drinking game for every time that you hear one of my text messages relay on this podcast, because it'll go ding. Anyway,
drink responsibly. Drink responsibly.
Yes, drink responsibly. Do not turn
to do that.
Every week thing. Okay. So, since your name is Curiously Creative, I can imagine that you created a very, very detailed and oriented game. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
Central mystery and plot. What is the main mystery that she's trying to solve? How does she come across it? Blah, blah, blah. What's going on?
Okay, so luckily, I actually did this for the Nancy Drew Network Challenge, so I had a lot of this already figured out months ago. So I was like, oh, perfect. But what I have for the plot is that Nancy Drew is once again in New York City. She's going to be solving. Yep. Well, I mean, it was either Nancy's going to be solving something in New York or Nancy's going to be solving something in my bedroom. And I feel like New York is way more interesting than an exploration area. Just put that out.
Yeah. Like, what's the mystery in your bedroom? Like, what shady crap are you up to? Yes. Like, what's going on?
I don't know. I got a lot of where's any of my library books? That's a mystery.
Of S's messy closet.
It is a messy closet. It's very messy right now. Although all of the clothing is color coordinated because, of course, it is. But well. Going back, but last time she was investigating a behind-the-scenes drama of a soap opera, now she's visiting Harlem and exploring the Lucky Lapin, a museum by day and popular speakeasy nightclub by night. After several sporadic, though initially thought to be unrelated accidents, a robbery of one of the museum antiques has caused the owner to spiral and reach out to any and all for help. Will Nancy solve the mystery or get lost in the cutthroat lifestyle of the city that never sleeps?
Ooh, so you made one of them, like, summaries, because when I was doing all of my dream games on Tumblr, like over the summer, I wrote my own like Nancy narration, like, you know, the end of the game kind of teaser narration for all of my games. So I think that's really cool that you're like the first person to like come on here and be like, oh, I have like my whole kind of like not tagline, but like whole synopsis paragraph in the back of the box like written out. Because I loved writing those for whenever I was doing my dream games, but I will, like I said, I will do them in the format of like Nancy's teaser letter that she always does at the end of the game for the next game. But anyway, so we're in New York, in Harlem, doing a museum by day, speakeasy by night. Nice. So like, what's the crime going on here?
So the crime is going on is that some sheet music has been stolen.
Ooh.
And it's, I wouldn't say it's super pricey, but it's like it's sentimental price that's really going on, and the owner is also pretty run thin because of just all of the and other items have been kind of like vandalized in some form. So she's kind of like, I cannot do this anymore. I'm running thin, and I need more help getting this stuff together.
So it's not like someone stole the sheet music for the original sheet music for like the national anthem, but it's more just like this piece of music means a lot to a lot of people, and so like it being missing has kind of like a tear face value to it.
Yeah, it's like, kind of like a more personal attack than like, oh no, the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, like that would be like little pricey, but like this is like,
I should have done that. Nancy Drew and Nicolas Cage crossover.
Yeah, a national treasure crossover.
That's going to be the third movie that they've never made.
Right. And they didn't make it for a reason.
Nicolas Cage will be wearing that pink jacket that he's known for right now.
Yes. So
I don't care if it's his character. It's canon. It's canon, and National Treasure canon. Sorry.
So 2 more like background questions. This is modern day, right?
Yes.
It's not like a 1930s time jump like Secret of the Old Clock.
No.
And
unfortunately.
Do you have any idea, like, is it during the summer, or like what season is it in?
I was thinking very late summer, early fall, because that's a pretty good time for New York. That's one of my more preferred time.
Oh yeah, I go every end of July, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love going.
There's not a lot of drastic color change in the city versus like upstate New York, but like it's got a nice like heat weather situation going on, and the colors can be nice sometimes.
Hot, but hot enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we've already talked about kind of the setting, you know, this museum / speakeasy. It's in Harlem. It's in New York. It's in the late summer, early fall time. It's modern, and I'm imagining it's not too hot, but it's hot enough. So that's a good transition. I mean, so now we can talk about your characters, about what they are and who they are, and do you have names for them?
Yes, okay, I did write their names.
Saved a lot of time because a lot of people don't have names for their characters. So I guess Let's talk about phone friends first. Do you have phone friends?
Yes.
Let's talk about those first.
All right. So for phone friends, we have Maddie Jensen.
Yay! I love Maddie Jensen.
And basically, she helps Nancy, but she's also one of those people who makes Nancy do like chores of helping. Like she's like, okay, I'll help you, but I need you to also like spread news about my newest outdoor play called Copyright of Love. I just wanted to give it the worst name.
Like a bad soap opera name.
Yeah, and so like Nancy, like, cause she has like more insider info, or just she knows people who can like give her info, but Nancy has to like take pictures and stuff for her and just help with publicity. And she's like, I don't want to do this. And Maddie's like, it's the only way. I have the idea that at the end Nancy does talk about like some shade about how that Copyright of Love ended up.
Right. It's not going to be copyrighted for long.
Yep. It's like Disney DMCA comes in.
Yeah, right. Like they're like, this is so bad, we're just going to just give it a copyright infringement so nobody ever has to do it again. Yep. Okay, so we got Maddie. Is that the only one, or is there more?
We also have Zoo.
Oh, Zoo from Dan.
Yep. Because he helps Nancy with underground New York subway system. Because there's actually like New York, the subway system, not all of it is like developed, and people can take tours in certain areas of like the subway system, where there's like, it's interesting. New York subway system is very complex. Some of it's finished.
I've never been on it. I've always just walked around everywhere because I haven't left. When I go, I don't generally leave the Broadway like area, so I don't really take the subway. Because like when I go for like a day trip. So I don't really leave the Broadway area, so I wouldn't really know about the subway system.
You've never had the mariachi band experience?
Never. I can't say that I have. I would know.
That's not just a 30 Rock thing. That was a thing that was going on during that time, where mariachi bands would go and play in the subway.
Yeah, I believe that 30 Rock is factual. So, factual New York representation. Do we have anyone like Bess, George, Ned, like that, or anything?
Yep.
Oh, really? Go
Bess
ahead.
and George are there. They're at a carnival, so that's going to be like their subplot, and they're trying to see who's going to win the most stuffed animals.
Well, so they're not phone friends. Oh, they're all phone friends.
Yeah,
they're calling from the carnival. I see.
Yeah. Because I like when there's a story progressing with the phone friends.
Yeah, my favorite one is Castle Malloy with the guy at the pool. The guy at the pool at the cookout, and there's also one where I think it's Haunted Carousel when Bess is trying to get this guy to call her back, and she's like, my parents disbanded caller ID because I stopped answering the lengthy people's phone calls, and like she's waiting on this guy to call her back. I think it's Carousel. I love like the Bess and George, like you can keep calling back and getting to, like, I think Scarlet Head is them playing Go Fish, and of course the airport and Shadow Ranch. But anyway, so they're at a carnival and they're calling her so you can probably hear a bunch of like carnival noises in the background, which is fun. I love carnival noises. So we got Maddie, Zoo, Bess, and George. Cool.
And that's it for phone friends.
Perfect. Good bunch. So now we'll go into the in-person peoples.
Woo. So for familiar characters, I wanted to put Aunt Eloise because I've always wanted to see her in a game.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna see Aunt Eloise before Nancy's dad. It's gonna be.
What do you mean? He's a golf ball. We've already seen him.
He has no body. He just is a golf ball.
He is a golf ball. I fully support that he is literally just a golf ball that can talk.
Can you imagine that's like how someone sums their parents' personality? Oh, yep, it's a golf ball. That's all it is.
A kleptomaniac golf ball is what Nancy Drew is.
That's why we never see her in the mirrors, because she's so small.
So is Nancy staying in that house, that apartment again? Is that why Aunt Eloise?
Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. So she's staying at Aunt Eloise's place again. I don't think we really I'm not sure if we necessarily visit Aunt Eloise, but I just like we visit her home necessarily, but I like the idea that that's where she would be staying.
But Maddie is not there because she's gone on to bigger and better things, aka the copyright. Bigger and better things.
DMCA, yeah.
Cool, so we have Aunt Eloise.
Then we have, for characters that I've added, Josephine Arter and Augustus, quote-unquote, Click Arter. So they're both siblings, and Josephine is, they're both grandchildren of a long-forgotten female band conductor who had started the Speakeasy to earn a profit. And Josephine is more of I think type A is the one that you go who's more serious and right brain. And so she does the financial issues and the business, and then she'll also go and participate with the speakeasy, with the singing, but then sometimes she'll go and be the bartender. She is spread to her limit, and she just needs that help. And then Augustus is the older brother, and he actually runs tour groups where he talks about the history of Harlem and the museum. Oh, wow. But he doesn't consider the museum his main priority. He actually only came back a few months ago because he had been traveling and had a lifestyle blog. So he prefers a more hands-on aspect of the museum, but he also really wants to rebrand it and also try to get his career in photography more popular. So he'll always show Nancy anything that he's posted on Instagram.
Oh, I love that. Because of course they could never use Instagram. I think that their equivalent is for Facebook at least is the Your page. That I think they talked about that in Waverly Academy when Corinne's do you have anything up on your page? And Nancy's no, what's that? But anyway,
yeah,
so he's super
what would be? There probably would be something like Click or something.
Yeah, or Photogram.
Or there you go. Yeah. Photo Rock. There you go. Photo Milo.
Yeah. Off-brand.
Photo
something. Cool. So we have the Arthur siblings. What's their age?
Their ages are probably late 20s, early 30s. Okay. They're both people of color because Harlem diversity, and also we want representation in Nancy Drew games. The conductor is actually based off of Cab Calloway's sister, Blanche Calloway. Blanche Calloway was actually a lot more popular before her brother, who everyone knows nowadays, and she was actually the one who did the Heidi High Hose. She was the one who actually started that originally, and then her brother borrowed it, and he became known for it. Fun fact.
Fun fact. This is a podcast full of fun facts. First,
theater day,
and then now this. Yep.
Little cute, everything.
Yep. Cool. So I got them down. Who's next?
Next is Philip Rothkin. So he runs the independent bookstore next door, and he's very helpful when talking to Nancy. And he actually created the space to function as a bookstore, but eventually, because of Amazon, he kind of turned it more and more into a museum space. So it's more of a gift shop now. And the bookstore actually entered the museum because I found out that in New York, there's a restaurant where you go through a pawn store to go into a restaurant.
Oh, so, wow.
Inspired by that.
That does not surprise me because New York is just crazy, full of crazy the way that it's built and all of the various stuff that you can encounter there. Yeah, so he's pretty helpful, but that makes him kind of shady because he has this secret way of getting into the speakeasy and museum at night when nobody's around or something. Because he's got to keep the shop.
Yeah, and he's been a long-term family friend, so Josephine trusts him a lot.
Right.
Good stuff. And next, because I'll transition, is Danny Deleon. He's kind of this more rough around the edges jazz musician who plays at the Lucky Lapin. He can found eating his favorite sandwich at the deli, or depending, because there's definitely a day and night mode. So at the day he's at the deli, and at night he's taking 5 at the speakeasy.
Oh, nice.
So he comes from a family museums. He's played at the club for like at least around 10 years. And he's apparently, according to Josephine, always seems to be like right around when things have been going on, but he always has an excuse for why he's there.
Interesting.
Yeah. And he's my Jewish character, so I feel like he would play klezmer, but he probably plays like another brass instrument as well. He just knows klezmer too. But I'm not sure if he would actually play it per se in the game.
Right. Yeah, they would never be able to afford animation of doing that.
Yeah, that'd be like because like he'd be like in a group because like klezmer isn't the instrument. I always confuse it. Like he'd be playing clarinet probably in it, but like
I'm not even sure they can animate that. Honestly, they couldn't even animate like Mel Corbelis playing the cello. Like you heard it, but then when you would walk into her room, she would just be like tuning it. She wouldn't be actually like playing it. Like they can't afford that.
Yeah. He's actually playing every time you don't see him. That's when he's playing.
Like you walk by her room and hurt her, but when you walk in, like she stops.
Yeah. I always love when they stare at you in the animation. Like if you stand there too long, and they're just like, "What?" And it's like, "Oh, okay." That was the funding. The funding was have that creepy staring at you moment.
Right.
Like, we don't want fluidity. We just want uncanny valley moment.
Same. I like that name, Denny Deleon.
And our last one is Brett Paxton III, because we definitely need some trust fund character in here. And he's
Brett Paxton the third. I love the third.
I knew someone who was a fourth in middle school and high school.
The person just has like the third or the second. Like they give me like such uptight vibes automatically. Because it's such like a prestigious thing to have, I think. So it's like it just gives me such like uptight vibes. I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely wears like a popped collar. He definitely wants like that Abercrombie and Fitch like 2008 energy.
Hollister model.
Yep. So he's like an eager PR guy, but because of his trust fund status, like of course he stakes in anything. But he's like trying. He wants to own a Sarah the Lucky Weapon to help brand it for the millennial age and Gen Z, but he doesn't know too much about the Gen Z. And he runs a nearby pop-up shop. And Josephine is suspicious about him. Augustus is very eager to discuss him. So we kind of like learn more about the relationship with him to the family.
Yeah, so we have Brett Paxton III in the pop-up shop, Danny in the deli at day and the speakeasy at night. Phillips in the bookstore. I'm guessing Josephine and Augustus are like in the speakeasy area or museum area, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that's where they're all located. To recap, and then we have Maddie, Zoo, Bess, and George, phone friends.
And Aunt Eloise would also be at the speakeasy.
Oh, right. I forgot that you had it.
No, it's okay. I know there's like 30 characters in mine. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. You were just like, she's like literally just like not really there. So that's why I was like, cool.
Due to budget restraints, she's also a golf ball in this.
Yeah, she is a golf ball with a wig on. This next part is interesting because you're a genius. Any puzzles that you thought of?
Yeah, I actually thought of a couple of puzzles. I wrote them down. So yay. So one of them I was thinking about is like possibly music puzzles. I actually kind of like those.
The piano puzzles and stuff. Yeah, I like those too.
Yeah.
I also like the gosh, what's that puzzle? There's a one specific puzzle I'm thinking about that's the harmonica. I like the harmonica puzzle in Haunted Carousel. That's a fun puzzle.
That one is fun. I also had the idea, this is a bit later on, but it doesn't give like super spoilers, but like a mosaic puzzle because of the subway.
Oh wow, Colin Baxter would be just having the time of his life there.
Oh yeah, it's a picture of Colin, but not kidding.
Oh my god, the irony of Colin Baxter.
Nancy would be like, "No, I'm leaving this puzzle. I'm out."
She would be like, "I cannot take this man's tiles anymore."
Yeah, it says like fantastic, like when it's assembled.
Oh my gosh, how could you be so careless?
That's where he's been. He hasn't been in that hotel. He's been in the New York subways this entire time.
Oh my gosh. That is
I love
amazing.
Colin. He's so sad. Poor Colin. I know he's an unpopular character in the community, which is very valid. But he is very much like someone who I would see on like Red Pill Reddit. But
yeah. Oh my god.
Sorry, I know it's awful, but he gives off that vibe.
Nice. So we have a music puzzle in some fashion, a mosaic puzzle of Colin.
You also get to hang out with a rabbit and feed them.
Where did rabbits come from?
Well, because the Lucky Lapin is named Lucky Rabbit, so in the speakeasy they have a rabbit named Loup, which is wolf in French. So
nice.
I'm so clever.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, third grade French, where I played a wolf.
French. Oh my god, I couldn't even master French in college. Anyway,
I can't even master French now.
Like third grade.
I learned French for 6 years, and I always had like the teacher like accent horrible. I was like, okay, so I only know like three. I only know like je ne parle pas français, and that's basically it. And that's like, and I'm like, there we go.
2, 3, 4, 6 feet, 7 feet. No, from Hamilton. That's about it.
Yeah. I was in Canada, and this guy was like, qu'est-ce qu'il y a? And I was like, je ne parle pas, je ne parle pas, because what happened was a tire had gotten glass stick on it, and I was like, comment dice, like, comment parle real? I was like, no, don't interact with me. I don't know French as well. My self-esteem does not give me the confidence to pretend that I know this language well enough.
Oh my gosh. Cool. So we got the rabbit feeding challenge puzzle. Any more?
There's probably stuff with like filing, kind of in Dog, how they have to do the years. Because I know people don't like filing stuff, but I like filing stuff. That's kind of what I've been doing right now with some of the family records. I've just been like filing. So I know that's like a very boring. People will be like, I want my oh god, what is it? When it's the machine and then it does all of the different parts, like those are the fun puzzles, and I'm just like, filing, that's what we'll do instead.
Right, or maybe like she could help set up a new exhibit in the museum.
Or, definitely. Like,
yeah.
The exciting part, dusting.
She's gonna take that mosaic of Colin Baxter and make it an exhibit in the museum.
She's just gonna take a picture of it and send it to Bess and George.
Yeah. Be like, so that guy Colin I was talking about from Venice, this is him.
Rube Goldberg. That's what I was thinking of. Like, I love when Nancy Drew has Rube Goldberg machines.
The one in Crystal Skull I can do in my sleep. I love that puzzle.
Oh, I love it. I also kind of love
my sleep.
I love that one. I also like how they're like, you can go and terrorize this guy with like a bunch of different flavors. And it's like, okay, cool. I don't want to work on the Rube Goldberg machine. I just want to keep giving them gumbo. That's the
Yep, and the music. Anyway, I love that puzzle.
It's like Nancy Cry was like, we're gonna put all of our budget into this Rube Goldberg machine, and then you're just gonna have to accept it.
If they could make a game that was like 3/4 Rube Goldberg puzzle solving, I would do it.
Yeah, Nancy Drew meets the I Spy PC games. That would be like, yes.
Just have like one puzzle and it's like this gigantic Goldberg puzzle.
The game ends after you get it. Like there's no villain, and they're just like the banner. Da, 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 you get Goldberg expert. The villain is
yourself because you didn't solve it fast enough.
Still be better than Salem. Hot take.
Right, still better than Midnight in Salem. So there's a whole bunch of potential for puzzles here. I think that there should be a time where like Nancy has to. Maybe this can tie in with the music puzzle, but I think she should have to like fill in for a performance one night, like she had to in Castle Malloy with the drum, just so she can like rock it out and then also learn the instrument. Like maybe she can play back up to Danny, and like because his like backup band member like is sick or something, and so she fills in for him. I
am all for that.
That'd be funny. Anyway.
I also like the idea of like a safe cracking puzzle. That's the number one.
Oh, always. Maybe like the sheet music's in a safe. I'm kidding. I don't know.
Like Final like the puzzle, the slider puzzle, like in Finn.
Yeah, the rotating or there's also one in Secrets Can Kill, even though they're different kinds of slider puzzles. Because the one in Finn's like a rotating one, and then the one in Secrets Can Kill is the actual slider one.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you know what? I like the rotating. I don't like slider. I'm actually pretty good at those, but I don't like doing them.
Right. There's a point where
they're like, what is Kerr? Kerr sliding puzzle.
Not fun.
They're like, we even know people hate this. That's why we have the little Easter egg sheet.
That's a very hard game. Cool. So those are some basic puzzles. So now's the part where I ask you to take me through the game in the order you would play it in. Just kind of like give me like how the game opens, like how you would progress things, and then we'll talk about the ending of the game. So like, what's the opening scene do you imagine happening at the very beginning of the game?
I kind of like the opening of Nancy not being like you actually see like or hear like a fire alarm going off, and then you hear Josephine just like going, "Oh no," or reacting shocked, and
blood-curdling scream.
Yes.
From Josephine, and like somebody died. She's like, "No, it's sheet music missing."
Yes. And then we cut to like Nancy Drew writing to Aunt Eloise, so you get your exposition, and that way, and so you meet with Aunt Eloise down in the speakeasy, and you get to meet all of those characters, and you probably have like at least one puzzle already, like probably organizing. I'm sorry, I'm like very bad with creative puzzle designs.
Oh, it's fine. I mean, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. But then you also get to go and meet Philip, and then there's kind of like a lot of like Fet's quests in my mind of who she interacts with and who she goes back and forth with. In my mind, this is a couple of days because of the night and the day and night setting, and you actually do get, because Brett Paxton hangs out in his pop-up shop. So because Click will recommend you to visit Brex, so you'll go and visit him, and later on you get to sneak in during night in between, and like so you have to like make sure you don't set off any alarms or anything. You get to check out the pop-up shop in between there.
Can you define for people who aren't familiar with New York, can you define what a pop-up shop is?
Sure. So a pop-up shop is basically it's very, I don't want to say this defines all pop-up shops, but a lot of them are very like Instagram aesthetic, and it's limited.
Yeah.
It's limited edition, so it's kind of and it's very exclusive because they'll basically just do a very short-term like blast that this will be opened up. There was this big one in New York with shoes, with designer shoes, and it was like a line across, and then there's also pop-up shops for food is a really big one as well.
Nice.
And so, but for this one, I kind of imagine maybe like tech or just Instagram aesthetic. Because there are pop-up shops that will literally just be Instagram aesthetic. There was one that came out I think a year or so ago, and it was just like neons and cloud environments, and it was just to take like cool pictures and tag it. So it's very exclusive. It's very and it will only be around for a short time. Close. They'll redesign it, and there'll be stores that will be rented out just for like pop-up spaces sometimes. Like not just exclusively, but there'll be like because you need like a space for it. And I believe that some of those stores are like very pop-up, because you need to put everything in there and stuff.
Well, so which kind of pop-up shop are you imagining this one be?
Definitely like aesthetic. So like neons, and I think there's like the very basic Instagram, like, because I can see him doing one, like he's closing one on the first day, and by like day 3, he's opened up another one. So realistically, it's just like a big hotspot for people to take pictures and just be like, oh, I'm in the exclusive luxury pop-up store. And it doesn't sell anything really but branding.
So it's kind of pointless is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Like
the trust fund, you can do whatever you want. So
yeah.
He's like, my parents thought that. He's like, my parents don't care. I can just do this, and so like, of course, Josephine's gonna be rolling her eyes because she is real work, and August and Quick is like would be at the pop-up store. Like if he could, he would be there to take pictures. It's very.
No, Nancy walks in and is just like, "This is useless."
Yeah, exactly. Nancy Drew would definitely be throwing some shade, like if you had the option of having like a sarcastic comment and sass about what the purpose was. She would definitely be saying, "Well, this."
He'll explain it to her, like she'll be like, "What kind of place am I in?" And he'll be like, "A pop-up shop," and she'll be like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just a place for you to come pictures." And she'll be like, "So what you're saying is you just pay money to have people to take pictures of your building."
I'm not even kidding. There really are some that are just like that. Like it's wild. It's a very New York, LA thing.
Nancy will be like, "That sounds like a scam to me."
Yeah.
Like maybe the real story. What? Forget the sheet music. I'm going to expose you for scamming people out of money just to take pictures in this pop-up shop. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so we were talking about the passage of time, and we were talking about how she can eventually sneak in there in the middle of the night and what.
So basically, you find out through that Quick and Brett are actually have an on and off dating relationship, which is why Quick and Brett, like Quick is very supportive of Brett and very positive in defending him, and that he probably is going to own part of, like he is trying to convince his sister to own part of the Lucky Weapon. And so that's like another big reveal of how the finances are going in this place and who's going to help with financing. Because that'll be like a later plot, like later at the end, we'll have an epilogue of what's going on there. But I definitely think that would be like, oh, so this is why there's tension with these characters and their interrelationship.
Yeah. I love when there's a surprise. Oh, they were dating.
Yeah.
Like, also, Tex and Mariazi kind of thing.
And then you also find out with like Philip, probably either maybe you overhear in a phone conversation at some point, or maybe even just when you go and open up a book, it slips out in the documents because maybe he forgot to take it out, but that he is not doing well financially and he's kind of like really stacked for cash, or some type of angry letter that he wrote but then stored it away and he didn't want anyone to see, but he's got his own motives for why he doesn't want this museum here anymore and just feeling pushed out. So that's another one that would be like, okay.
Yeah, that raises some red flags.
Oh, and also there's going to be another burglary on day 2, and as usual Danny's going to be nearby, and my idea is a baton gets stolen, and it's going to be the conductor who I didn't really give her a name, but I don't know why I did not give her a character name, but I'll just go with like, oh my god, my first thought was Fancy Woo Woo, but we're not going with that.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine? That sounds like a band name from that time period, though. That's what I hate. Yeah. But it would probably be like, in my mind, it would be just a very French or stage name. But so her baton is stolen, and that's going to be what's going on inside day 2, and just trying to find out why that's gone to.
So you can you instigate this day and night automatically, or is it like you have to, or I mean, can you like trigger it like you can in Sentry for Danger, and you can like go upstairs and it turns into night, or is it like you can't control when it's day or night?
You can't control it.
You can.
It's kind of like there's a linear but non-linear, that type of situation. And then what happens is near the end, you actually get to go into the subway systems. And that's actually where you'll find the items, is through like a mosaic puzzle and also just like a hidden brick, or that'll probably be another like fun puzzle that makes no sense in how the logic of the world works, but will like mechanics or something.
She looks behind this mosaic of Colin Baxter, and it's just a ton and some sheet music. Oh my gosh!
Should I give away who it is now, or should I?
Are there any other like game plot things that you want to talk about? Like maybe just I don't know, like maybe some. Can we talk about like, let's talk about second chances first. And
perfect.
about the end. So like go through like I guess potential second chances you've thought of and how they're funny or not funny or whatever.
I think everyone's gonna really not like this one, but I have this idea of Nancy getting hit by a train, inspired by the original idea of one of the scrapped storylines from Zoolander.
Oh my gosh!
Which is a real plot point. If you was ever listened to the director commentary of Zoolander, that's why his relatives did tunneling, because they were all going to investigate the New York tunnel system, and then that got scrapped because of budget.
Well, so she can just literally like, she can stand on the track and be like, I better not get any closer or I might fall in. And if you try to click on that same spot again, she falls over and a train just runs her over.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's a very dark one, but we have had that horrifying elevator moment.
Yes, that noise. Oh my gosh.
And she does get crushed. And spoiler alert for carousel, she does get crushed by a carousel horse, so.
Yeah, if I'm going to get skewered.
I know. They're like, if we make the screen dark, it doesn't make it as bad as it seems when you say it out loud.
Yeah. Or when she
doesn't she get run over by a car? Yes, she gets her foot stuck in that.
Or when she falls off the balcony in final scene.
Yeah, I know. Like I love how her is like, it's not bad if we cut to black right before it happens. It's like, I don't know. But I also have the idea of her setting off alarm systems with the pop-up store, overfeeding La Loupe. Yeah, or Loupe.
Oh my gosh, poor rabbit.
I know, that poor rabbit.
Animals.
Nancy Drew and animals is always an easy character.
Do not click. I never I never have to end up doing the cook a cake puzzle for Lulu in Blackmore Manor because I've always remembered what the answers to that door are. The first time I did the cook Lulu a cake challenge, I horribly failed. And I killed Lulu.
I know, I do not like those, like, okay, you have to give these right proportions to this animal or else you will hear them die. And it's like, no, I would rather not have this moment.
Yeah, that happens in Shadow Ranch too. Yeah, I hate those challenges.
I don't want to kill Bob. I like Bob.
It's like, Tex, if you would stop being lazy and feed them yourself, they wouldn't be dying right now. I mean, God.
There's chores at that place. Like, maybe that's why things aren't going so great here.
Yes. Ugh. That game
Tex is like, I'm too busy setting up the barrels for the other mini challenge to help
that game has so many chores, it makes me so sick. There could also potentially be, well, gosh, I had something in my mind. I can't quit thinking about the running over by a subway train.
Sorry.
I know. I think it's interesting. I think it's funny. So they're setting off the alarm.
It'll probably have like those "you couldn't keep everything on track" or some really bad train track pun.
Maybe she breaks something in the museum and she gets told to leave or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely see or just definitely my idea is something messing up in the museum and Josephine is like a hair's breadth away from having a nervous breakdown. So it's just, Nancy, you need to go. You are not helping things.
And while you're maybe the first time you sneak into the speakeasy, the pop-up shop, maybe you have to have a flashlight or she falls down the stairs and breaks her neck or something like that.
I can definitely see the speakeasy having you need to fix a step or something in one of the areas, because maybe the speakeasy got closed off because someone vandalized one of the steps, and so she needs to fix it. And if you don't hammer it in right and you fall through,
or if you just don't do it at all,
you forget. We've got goofy logic here now.
Right.
And then also you could have another puzzle that way, because maybe there's actually a squeaky board and you open it up and find some evidence going on there.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm making this game up as I go along. Not kidding.
At this point, we are. Cool. So I guess if there's no other plot devices you want to talk about or no other things like that, I guess we'll talk about the end of the game.
So, as much as pro book, I do like the idea of Philip Rothkin. I had switched between Brett being it or Philip, and I decided to go with Philip. And his motive was just like he was at the end of his rope, and he thought like maybe if he harasses them so much, the museum will close, and he'll somehow start earning more profit with having a bookstore and not like a gift shop.
Yeah, right.
And because he's known them for so long, he knows like what can make them crack. And just also, he's like, we'll never suspect the family friend. So
right, like you never suspect me.
Because I've always liked. I don't want to give spoilers. I will try not to. I was like, I'm gonna give a spoiler, but I won't. I always like the characters in the NCU games, the villains, where it's like you have a relationship, but you like the character, and then they actually were the villain. You know, it's like the Tyra Banks meme. Like, we all believe in you.
Yeah. Right.
I supported you. I yell at the ones I love. You know, it's like, no.
Have you thought of how she figures this out? Does he like show up and it's like, oh, it was me, or does she like, does he appear when she finds the sheet music and the baton?
Yeah, my idea is that they have like the subway fight, and they kind of like chase around, so it's like a maze tunnel thing in the subway, and then
to catch him, you have to throw him on the subway track.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's like
Oh my god!
Only one of us can survive. That's the.
Or that could be maybe that can be the second chance. Like if you go too fast, or maybe if he catches up to you, he throws you on the subway track so she gets ran over. Instead of just like it happening randomly because she's leaning too close. Maybe like he can do that as kind of like to stop her from catching him, pretty much kind of thing.
So she's just like, we won't do train tracks, and I'm just thinking of all the other second chances they do, and I'm like, would you though? Could you?
I always got nervous when I was playing Last Train to Lumen Canyon that when they would do those cut scenes where she would jump across the train carts, that she would fall.
Oh my god! Yes, I had so much. I'm so glad. I'm actually glad that they didn't have like the only train related thing was with the brake, which was nice.
And she hits her head on the brake. If you pull the brake, she'll hit her head on it, and she'll get a concussion and get told to leave the train.
And then she falls out.
Yeah,
she falls out the brake.
Yeah, which is another.
I feel so bad. I've given so many spoilers for second
really.
chance.
You're not giving away any culprits, so I think you're fine.
Yeah.
What kind of? I meant to ask you this earlier. What kind of things do you see being sold in this gift shop? Like I Love New York things, or just like?
I think less I Love New York, more it would definitely be like postcards. Probably it would be reproduction art of some of the sheet music covers.
Or the Colin Baxter Memorial.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Colin Baxter Mosaic is the best selling of all the items.
A postcard of the Colin Baxter Mosaic.
I would definitely not buy that. I say meaning I would buy.
Yes, absolutely.
I want a full movie poster size of that.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my god.
That's horrifying.
I mean, considering all of the like graffiti and stuff in the subway system, I mean, why wouldn't there be a Colin Baxter mosaic?
I also see just maybe like there's a lot of the rabbit. You can buy like little either bobblehead rabbits or rabbit plushies. Which I kind of like.
Yeah. You know what would be so cute if you could like earn money and like buy outfits for the rabbit.
Oh, that would be adorable.
That would be amazing.
You would take pictures of it for click. It would be like one of those mini games that you get.
Like you're required to buy one outfit and then you can buy the rest optionally and get.
Oh my god, no!
The rabbit.
Maddie sends you a shirt or something to put on the rabbit to take a picture for the advertisement for Copyright of Love.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then you're like, this looks horrible. Why are you doing this, Maddie Jensen?
It's like, you know how in the games with Wave you can take a picture but it can look really bad, but if you just have like one right angle, like it would be like that level of game mechanics.
Yeah, I saw a post on Tumblr. Somebody was trying to see how horrible picture of a picture they could take of everybody in Waverly Academy, and then they were going to see how like if Rachel would accept them if they were bad, and so they were showing like all of the accepted angles, and like some of them were just of their noses. It was so funny.
I was trying to do that too because it's so much funnier to imagine like these really bad photos on the school website,
and she would
especially in a STEAM school. Like, yes, these are the yearbook qualities we want.
I mean, everybody's yearbook probably has something like that.
Can you tell that the new girl took the pictures in this school?
New girl from Paris with only a book bag on her back.
I like to imagine that Nancy can put the rabbit in a mini horse shirt.
Yes, that would be amazing.
That's the Easter egg.
About in the last week's podcast about like the religious Christian wall that was in the game set in Jerusalem, like the religious Christian wall that you go to make prayers in, that she can get banned from Jerusalem by wearing the horse shirt to this sacred holy wall to pray. Because you're supposed to like dress up to go to this wall and pray, but she is new and doesn't know that, so she wears a horse shirt to this sacred wall.
Only Nancy.
Yes.
Nancy's just starting religious riots like left and right.
Absolutely. So this was very, very entertaining, and I'm getting great visuals of the speakeasy. You know, it's not quite the dog speakeasy, but it's not quite like the Riverdale speakeasy either. Or is it the Riverdale speakeasy? It might be.
Riverdale's had like 8 speakeasies at this point.
Right.
We went from a speakeasy, from like a cabaret speakeasy, to now like a bar speakeasy. And I'm sorry, I know that this is going on a tangent, but I love how they're like, we want this to be a secret speakeasy, but everyone seems to know the speakeasy, and no one has an issue that minors are running the speakeasy.
Right, like late 20 people are running the speakeasy, and I wonder if is there like a part where you can order drinks for Nancy?
Yes.
There's gotta be.
Nancy's gonna get turned at the end of this game.
She'll get too drunk and she'll go to the subway and fall on the train.
I'm going to do what Ghost of Foreign Hall? What Ghost of Foreign Hall wouldn't. I'm gonna let Nancy get turned. That's gonna.
Yeah, with the tea. I think it was the tea, right? She would be like, I can't have more tea.
Don't you? No, it's not Ghost of Foreign Hall. Haunting of Malloy. That's it.
Yeah, where they were doing that non-alcoholic beverages in the.
Yeah, no, we're going hard liquor. Nancy's 21 now, so you can do the hard liquor.
Yeah, she's finally progressed from 50 years of being 18 to being 21 in the span of 1 year.
I did what the games could never do. I made her 21. No.
I made it in for mature.
She can't rent a car yet, but she can drink. That's the.
I did what the other games never could. I made it in for mature.
Yeah.
Still
better than mid. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, still better than mid. We're just Nancy drinks the whole time, and she solves a bunch of Rube Goldberg puzzles.
No, it's like the box cover is like Nancy like getting turned in a horse shirt.
Yeah. And there's a Colin Batchelor mosaic in the background.
Yeah. I mean, I would buy that. I would buy that game.
This was a hot mess. But it was a very, very good hot mess. My final 3 questions. I guess I'll give you my title of this game, and then you give me the actual title of this game. And really, honestly, I'm thinking like the pop-up shop mystery, or like the something like that. I don't know. What do you think it's called?
I wrote Nancy Drew in the Stolen Scroll or Score. Nancy, yeah, it's a skull. It's every other thing but what it's supposed to be. Nancy Drew in the Stolen Score. Yeah.
Nancy Drew the Stolen Score.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Say that 5. Say all those 3 times real fast. Score, and scroll.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I did it. I found a new terrible tongue twister too.
What does the box art look like? And please don't say Nancy getting turned in a horse shirt with a mosaic of Colin Baxter in the background.
That's the second choice. I had actually drawn a mock one because I made a fake playlist for like the vibes of this game for the Nancy Drew Network Challenge, so people can find it on my Tumblr if they want to check it out. and it's got like the scroll, the store. Oh my god, it's not a scroll. It's a score. I don't know why I'm saying that multiple times. It's got the score, and it's like all old and on the front, and then there's a husk it out candle, and you actually can see someone reflected in the shadows on the right. You can see all of like the artwork that's hanging up in the speakeasy. So
wow.
It's got those vibes. But people should check out the playlist. If you do check it out, please reblog because I made it.
Because reps.
Yes, because I don't have a Ko-Fi, but I will eventually. I will put a Ko-Fi. But I do commissions, so I do playlist.
Well, why don't you go find it after we record this and reblog it so I can see it, and also so I can.
Oh yeah, but only reblog if you think it, you like it. Don't like.
Yeah, well, I definitely want
pressuring you too.
I haven't seen it.
This is where my main finance is from making fan playlists. I'm not going to get a real job. I'm just going to earn all my money through $5 increments.
Yep. And then lastly, what color is the game? Like, what color would the disc be? Like, what's the mood color of the game?
I kind of like a reddish orange color. Yeah. I have a lot of red in the design of the fake mock box art that I did. So I kind of like the idea of like a reddish orange.
Love it.
Like, I think that's a color that's been used before, but if not, cool.
It was the color, I think.
Or it's going to be Colin Baxter mosaic.
Yeah, it's just gonna have Colin Baxter's face on the disc.
Don't make me make this through like whatever setting I can do a mosaic filter on. Right. I am going to make this awful Colin Baxter mosaic mock now.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so that was Nancy Drew, The Stolen Score, feat. Colin Baxter's mosaic. And any other final parting words, S?
No, this is a very fun, very chill podcast. I've been really enjoying hearing everyone else's ideas. They've all been great. And
yay, I agree. It's been fun having everybody on here.
This is a really nice thing to do. This is the first podcast I've been on.
Yeah, so. This was the first one I've been on, period, much less create, run, manage. So it's been a very, very well learning experience for me. I've enjoyed learning how to use iMovie. Yeah, so thank you everybody for tuning in to Nancy Drew, The Stolen Score, and we will see you all next week.
Woo!